As the man turned around, he had no idea that a cliff edge was right behind him. Before he could react, his body tumbled down the slope uncontrollably. It all happened so fast, he had no time to protect himself. Luckily, after rolling hundreds of feet, his fall was stopped by a massive tree stump. He barely had a chance to breathe a sigh of relief when disaster struck again. The very stump that had saved his life came crashing down from above, slamming directly onto his legs. The searing pain made him scream out in agony. Hearing the cry, Robinson rushed down from the ridge and was horrified by what he saw. Just as he moved to help, Friday let out a sharp cry. He had dislocated his shoulder. Without urgent care, his life could be in danger. Robinson didn't hesitate. He scrambled to the other side of the pit and noticed a small gap beneath the stump, held up by two large rocks. There was still a chance. He grabbed one of the stones and placed it about 8 inches from the stump. Then, using a sturdy stick, he attempted to create a lever. Taking a deep breath, he pushed with everything he had, trying to lift the several-ton stump. But the weathered stick snapped in half instantly under the pressure. Frustrated and out of tools, Robinson looked around for another solution, but time was running out. Friday was barely holding on. Then, an idea struck him. Without a second thought, Robinson scrambled out of the pit. Back on the surface, he grabbed a sharp axe from a nearby wooden frame and rushed back, but the pit was now filling with water. One glance and Robinson understood. The cave was below sea level, part of a tidal cavern. Seawater was rushing in through the cracks. With the tide rising fast, the entire pit would soon be underwater. Wasting no time, Robinson raised the axe and started hacking at the stump. Splinters flew as he chopped faster and harder. Watching his frantic effort, Friday actually chuckled through the pain. He told Robinson to stop. It would take hours to cut through a stump that thick with such a small axe. By then, they'd both be long gone, swallowed by the sea. But Robinson couldn't abandon the man he had come to see as a brother. He kept swinging, until finally, even the axe gave out. Its wooden handle snapped in two. Water was now up to Friday's chin. Just as they both were beginning to lose hope, Robinson noticed vines trailing from the edge of the cave. And just like that, he had a plan. He dove into the water to retrieve the broken axe head, then climbed out once more. Moving quickly, he cut down all the vines he could find. Friday watched in shock as Robinson tied them tightly around the tree stump. His plan was risky but brilliant. He would attach heavy weights to the other end of the vines and drop them from the cliff above. The sudden pull might lift the stump just enough. He ran the vine over a thick tree branch above the pit, then sprinted to the cliff's edge. Meanwhile, Friday was now completely submerged. With every ounce of strength, Robinson pushed the weight off the cliff. The vines snapped tight and the stump lifted, just enough for Friday to escape. Gasping for breath, Friday knew how close he'd come to death. One more moment and he might not have made it. Fortunately, aside from his dislocated shoulder, he was unharmed. But just when they thought they were safe, the final blow came. When the two men reached the shoreline, the only boat that could have gotten them off the island had already been swept away by the rising tide. All they could do was stand there and watching it disappear into the distance.